Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into the top 5 AI news stories making headlines on Tuesday, May 27, 2025. And just so you know, this specific deep dive, it's called AI Daily Deep Dive, and it was actually researched and, well, generated entirely by AI.
That's right. We took the stack of articles and reports provided, and our job now is to unpack the really important bits for you.
Because let's face it, AI is moving incredibly fast. It's touching everything, big corporations, your own security, even education.
Yeah, it's everywhere. So let's get into the stack of sources and see what stands out today.
Okay, first up, we're getting a look at Google's perspective, specifically from CEO Sundar Pichai. What's his take?
Well, it's pretty striking, actually. He flat out says AI will be bigger than the internet.
Bigger than the internet, wow.
Yeah, he's really framing it as a massive fundamental shift, not just, another tech upgrade, but something that changes how we interact with everything digital.
And he's saying this shift is happening right now.
Yeah.
Moving from the lab to, well, our screens.
Exactly. He points to things like Gemini, VO3, Imagen, their latest AI products, as evidence. But for most people, the big change they'll see immediately is probably in search.
Ah, right. The AI mode that's now rolled out across the US. How does that work?
It changes the whole search results page. Instead of just that list of blue links we're used to, it generates a custom page. It might pull info together, maybe show interactive charts.
So it's adapting to what you ask, not just pointing you somewhere else.
Precisely. The source says adapts dynamically, which, sounds great for the user, maybe.
But I could already see the problem. What about the websites, the publishers? If Google summarizes everything.
It hit it. That's the tension. The sources specifically mention the News Media Alliance calling it theft.
Theft, strong word.
Yeah. They argue if users get the summary, they won't click the link, and that kills the publisher's revenue stream.
So what's Google's answer to that?
Well, according to the sources, they say they're committed to sending traffic out to the web. They claim the AI summaries will have sources, and historically, they have sent users to other sites.
A balancing act, that. Tricky.
Very. And Pichai's vision isn't just software. He's apparently quite excited about hardware too, especially augmented reality.
Like smart glasses.
Exactly. The sources mention partnerships, Gentle Monster, Warby Parker for AI-powered glasses, and they suggest these might hit the mainstream pretty soon.
Interesting. What else stood out from his comments?
AI agents. That was another big theme. These are AI tools that could, browse the web and do things for you.
Like book a flight or order food.
Potentially, yeah. Pichai speculated this could even force companies like Uber or DoorDash to change how they operate, maybe because the agent does the task without you ever opening their app.
Okay, that's a big potential disruption. And did he talk about search traffic? Because some people worry AI summaries might kill it.
He addressed that. He basically refuted claims of declining traffic, saying overall query volume is actually up, including on Apple devices.
So he thinks AI overviews help.
Yeah, his argument is they drive more engagement, pushing users to explore more sources, and apparently people are asking longer, more complex questions now.
Okay, so the big picture from Pichai is AI boosts creativity, productivity, helps solve problems, generates all sorts of content. But we need guardrails, responsible governance.
That sums it up pretty well. It's a vision of transformation, but with a necessary dose of caution.
It really makes you think how your own search habits might change, or if you trust an AI agent to handle things for you.
Definitely food for thought.
Okay, shifting gears from that big picture view. Let's get very specific. AI's impact on something we all deal with. Email scams. Our second story.
Yes. And the news here isn't great, unfortunately. AI is making phishing emails much, much harder to spot.
How so? I thought we were meant to look for bad grammar and typos. Well, that used to work. But generative AI, it writes perfectly fluent, natural-sounding emails. Those old telltale signs are just gone.
So the quality's way up. That's concerning.
It really is, and the financial impact is huge. The FBI figure mentioned in the sources is $16.6 billion lost last year just to phishing.
$16 billion, wow. And AI is making it easier for the scammers.
Massively easier. They can generate flawless messages in tons of languages now. No more awkward Google Translate giveaways.
Right, the source mentioned an Icelandic client example language used to be a barrier, but not anymore.
Exactly. And they're getting smarter. They train the AI on real emails from your bank, from online stores, so it mimics the tone and style perfectly.
And it lets them scale up attacks too, right?
Oh, absolutely. The sources say they can analyze, say, a sales team at a big company and whip up personalized phishing emails in minutes. They can even sneak into existing email threads using lookalike domain names.
It's like using two V's instead of a W. Things our brains might just skip over. Precisely. Our brains autocorrect and they exploit that. It's clever in a malicious way.
So what can people actually do? Are there still effective defenses?
Yes, thankfully. The sources recommend what they call polite paranoia.
Polite paranoia. Okay.
It just means if an email seems even slightly off, don't trust it blindly. Verify it through a separate channel. Call the company using a number you know is real. Or go to their website directly. Don't click links in the email.
Makes sense. And the basics still matter.
Yeah.
Password managers, multi-factor authentication.
Absolutely essential. NFA especially as a crucial layer of security.
And the sources mentioned future threats, too. Deepfakes, voice cloning.
Yeah, that's the next frontier. Imagine getting a call that sounds exactly like your boss asking for a wire transfer. The idea of using pre-shared safe words for video calls was floated as one possible defense against that.
It really feels like an arms race. Traditional security advice isn't quite enough anymore.
It isn't. Vigilance and verification are key. And companies really need better AI-powered tools to catch these sophisticated scams.
That $16.6 billion isn't just a number. It affects real people. So thinking about how you can stay safe, simple steps like checking sender addresses carefully, enabling MFA, it matters.
Definitely. Okay, so from defending against AI misuse, let's switch to a company going all in on AI investment.
Right. Our third story. BDO, the big accounting and advisory firm, just announced a huge AI strategy. How big?
$1 billion with a B over 5 years.
Wow. Okay, that's serious money. What's the goal?
The aim is to boost efficiency and strategic capabilities, both for their own employees and for their clients. This isn't just an internal thing.
So they see AI as core to their future business.
Completely. They actually started pilots back in early 2023. This new phase is a major acceleration, but they emphasize it's built on a responsible AI framework. They're even rolling out a big training curriculum for their whole workforce.
That responsible AI part seems important, given the risks we just talked about.
Yeah, very. The CEO, Wayne Berson, is quoted saying it's not just about automation, it's about unlocking human potential, boosting productivity, fostering ingenuity, but doing it responsibly.
And they've already seen some results.
Yeah, their internal tool, Chat BDO, which is a custom generative AI platform, apparently saved their people over 600,000 hours since last August.
600,000 hours. That's significant.
It really is. And they're building more tools. One uses AI agents to sift through web data to find business opportunities in minutes, something that used to take hours. Another helps refine audit procedures. There's also one coming for processing documents automatically.
It sounds like they're really integrating it deeply and focusing on the people side, too.
Seems like it. They have these AI ambassadors to help with adoption, workshops, training on ethics, tools, trends, a whole program.
What's next for them? What are they planning?
The sources mention more generative AI assistance for drafting reports, analyzing data. Also AI for hyper-personalized client services, automating things like billing and scheduling, even using multimodal AI that can handle text, voice, and visuals.
And they're packaging this for clients, too.
Yep, through platforms like BDO Tax Userverse and BDO Advantage, so it's both internal transformation and external service offering.
$1 billion sends a strong signal. It suggests this isn't just a tech trend for professional services, it's becoming fundamental. Whether you're in a big company or small, the services you use are changing.
Absolutely. And that level of investment, alongside their focus on governance, leads us nicely into the next big question.
Which is accountability. Our fourth story tackles that thorny issue. Who's accountable when AI fails?
Yeah, this is a really complex one. AI drives efficiency, enables amazing things, but when it goes wrong, who takes the hit? Is it the programmer, the company leader, the regulator?
It's often not straightforward. The sources bring up that Zoox robotaxi incident from April 2025 in Vegas.
Right. The driverless cars sideswiped someone after braking too late. Minor crash, thankfully, but it led to a software recall for hundreds of vehicles and suspended operation.
It just instantly highlights how hard it is to assign blame when the driver is code.
Exactly. And there's this weird tension. Businesses see AI as critical, yet many are struggling to make money from it, according to one survey. And another report found most execs aren't confident they can even manage the risks involved.
So are companies truly committed to ethical, safe AI? Or is it just innovation at all costs?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The sources suggest we need a structured way to think about it. They mention this M4 matrix framework.
M4, what does that cover?
It looks at 4 levels: micro, that's individual accountability; meso, organizational responsibility; macro, government regulation; and meta, global governance, like international standards.
Okay, so different layers of responsibility.
Right. And they give examples, like at the micro level, a hospital radiology department had an AI tool with 93% accuracy in trials, but in the real world, performance varied wildly depending on the human oversight and training at each facility.
So the AI needed the natural intelligence, the human part, to work well. Hybrid intelligence.
Exactly. Then at the meso, or organizational level, they found a worrying lack of basic safety documentation model cards for many AI models publicly available. That points to gaps in corporate practices.
And then macro is the laws, like the EU AI Act.
Yep. And things like the NIST framework in the US. And meta involves global bodies like UNESCO trying to set ethical guidelines, even if they're often voluntary.
It sounds like there's a lot happening, but maybe not all joined up yet. A McKinsey survey mentioned showed most execs aren't seeing big revenue gains from AI yet, but almost all plan to invest more.
Which suggests they see the long-term potential, but realizing it probably hinges on getting this accountability and ethical deployment right. There was another framework mentioned: A-frame awareness, appreciation, acceptance, accountability, as a way for leaders to tackle this.
So the bottom line is accountability doesn't just happen with AI. It needs to be deliberately built in.
Precisely. From the code itself right up to the boardroom. And for anyone using AI tools, which is increasingly all of us, understanding who's responsible when things go wrong is crucial for building trust.
Absolutely. Which brings us to our final story today, focusing on trust and AI's impact in a very specific place: schools. Story number 5 is about AI and cheating.
The return of the Blue Book. This one is fascinating. You have this super advanced technology, AI like Chat GPT, making it easy for students to, well, cheat on assignments.
Just generate essays with minimal effort.
Right. And the response from universities, it's almost retro. They're bringing back those old school paper blue booklets for handwritten in-class exams.
Seriously, Blue Books are making a comeback.
Apparently so. The Wall Street Journal reported big jumps in sales. Texas A&M up 30%, University of Florida nearly 50%. UC Berkeley saw an 80% surge.
Wow. Because you can't easily use ChatGPT when you're handwriting an essay in a supervised room.
That's the logic. It's an analog solution to a digital problem. The company that makes most of them even said AI has been good for their business.
It's kind of ironic, isn't it? But does it actually solve the problem? The sources raised some doubts, didn't they?
They did. One professor argued that while Blue Books might stop cheating on that specific exam, they don't replace the critical thinking and research skills students are supposed to learn from writing longer papers outside of class. Just abandoning those traditional assignments could be a real loss.
So it tackles the symptom, maybe, but not the underlying issue of learning versus gaming the system.
Exactly. And student AI use is apparently rampant. One study found 89% admitted using ChatGPT for homework. Plus, those AI detection tools haven't really worked out.
89%, that's huge. It really raises questions about what students are actually learning. Are they developing critical thinking or just getting good at using AI prompts?
That's the core concern. Critics worry it could lead to a decline in those essential skills, which has implications for the future workforce, too. If you always rely on AI, can you solve problems independently?
So what are the proposed solutions? More tech or something else?
It's debated. Some suggest tougher measures, new rules, better detection tech. Others argue for a more fundamental shift in educational culture, trying to foster genuine intellectual curiosity so students want to engage with the material themselves rather than just outsourcing the thinking.
It's a tough balancing act. How do you integrate useful AI tools without undermining academic integrity and the core goals of education?
That's the challenge schools and universities are grappling with right now. The Blue Book revival is just one very visible sign of that struggle. If you're a student, a teacher, a parent, this is happening now, and it affects you directly.
Yeah. How do we ensure learning still means learning in the age of AI? Okay, so we've covered a lot today. Quite a range.
Definitely. From Google's huge vision for an AI-powered future
To the immediate threat of those supercharged phishing emails hitting your inbox.
then the massive billion-dollar bet BDO is making on AI for business.
And the really tricky question of who's responsible when AI messes up.
And finally, the surprising comeback of Blue Books in schools, because of AI cheating.
All drawn straight from the source materials we dug into today.
It really shows how AI is weaving itself into almost every part of life, doesn't it? Work, security, business strategy, education.
It does. And across all these stories, one theme keeps coming up. As AI gets more powerful, the real challenge isn't just building better tech. It's about us humans adapting, governing it, figuring out how to partner with it effectively.
Making sure the intelligence we rely on stays centered on human values and needs.
Exactly. So the question these sources leave us with is, what role will you play in shaping that partnership between humans and AI going forward? Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.